up where we left off at. I think I'll jump into the. Okay. 6. Okay. Thank you. I think I'll jump into the tax refund request. We had that one here a couple of weeks ago that I had asked to hit the pause button on so I could do some research. In this, this was for an individual who their husband or their spouse served in the military, and there was a couple of statutes there that aren't in conflict, but it needed clarification. So I reached out to the State Tax Commission and educated myself a little bit. And it comes down to what they call port of entry when somebody joins the military. And in looking at the documentation they provided, the port of entry for this individual is out of state. And there's a federal code that that's referred to. And I would go ahead and pass that back down, but I would recommend that we go ahead and issue a request for that refund.
I'd make a motion we approve that request for refund.
I will second the motion due to our findings.
Okay. And this was for a Teresa Spear, and it was for $286.90 for tax year 2019. And I had a motion and a second. Do I have any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. We'll let them know, and I think they had all the documentation here they needed to get it processed. Then I'll give that one back to you. And then we had another one come in the day after Christmas, and this one is for, it came over from the assessor's office, and it had to do with ownership on a mobile home and when it was taken possession of, and all the notes are here on it. And it's for a Mr. and Mrs. Brawley for $426.62 for the tax year 24, and I'll go ahead and pass it down for review. And I thought we had one more hanging out there, but it might have been this one.
No, I think we haven't.
So basically all this one is an offset where we're
Somebody else
charging
is paying.
somebody else and we're
That bought it.
refunding this.
It was a mobile home that they sold in April of 2023. So the new people will be paying the taxes now.
Right.
So, yeah.
So it's just, yeah. Motion to approve whichever one it was.
Yep. I'll second that.
I have a motion second to approve the refund request in amount of $426.62 for the Brawleys. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Request approved. Looks like Linda has some CDT applications. You want me to grab those? Or
Just
a
like they came in. Slide in.
Here's the request.
Let me ask you this, if they didn't do that today,
Who's that?
this one, if they didn't do it today, is the opportunity gone?
If they don't do it this year, the opportunity is gone.
Well, today's the last day, so that's why I'm saying that.
We've already had a check, but it's held, it's not been mailed for pending approval.
Right.
So we can do it.
I
or
thought
we
this
can-
went across one essentially for the went
We
across
haven't
one.
got checks over there.
I'd make a motion where you approve the sleeper Fire department request on CDT for 2024.
Okay, do I have a second?
Oh, yes, second.
You want a separate motion for the financials or just one for both of them?
And approve the financials.
Okay. Okay, I had a motion and a second to approve the financials and the request for CDT funds for Sleeper Fire Department. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Approved. Okay. Do we have any just regular business we'll go ahead and knock it out here too?
Did we do minutes? Minutes? Oh, we did not.
We did minutes, yeah, we did. They were approved without any discussion. And there were several year-end warrants that we paid. Did you guys have a chance to go through those?
I glanced at it. Yeah.
I think it was just a lot that came into the year and nothing out of the ordinary. David, did you have a chance to look at them?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes, I did yesterday.
All right.
Did you see your termination paper in that?
I didn't see mine either. No.
Nope.
Well, you'll get that when you don't get a payroll notice in your inbox.
I figured there was probably some hitch to this thing.
All right, gentlemen, we're back
I
in.
thought really that Erik might let me retire. You just let it keep coming my way.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Just funnel that into your.
Yeah.
Bank account?
Retirement. Yeah.
How much do you want to have?
How much you want to know?
Whatever.
What days do you want to come in for the meeting?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've got something for general county business. But,
Okay,
I don't know if you want to get to that
Let's
yet. Or
let's
you
go.
wanna-
No, let's jump in. We need to take care of all of it. So.
So the discussion, and it needs addressed, and it needs to be addressed pretty, I think, quickly. I'd like to address it today and maybe give an option out here for somebody to fulfill what their desire is to do. But Dunklin Road, that has been it's kind of been a back step child redheaded thing that we've kind of just loosely allowed it to just continue as it has. Now, I don't know if there was ever signed agreements, if there was a handshakes.
There's signed. people.
Yeah. And I'll wait for Randy to come back in, but
It may help your
it may.
basis.
So this agreement, and I don't know that we have a date even on this now. Nope, no date.
But those
But
three,
by Jack, Joe, and Danny signed it, had to be sometime in before I got here, and potentially 12 years before, 10 years
It
before.
was recorded from the year 2013.
And so what it spoke to was that Special Road District in Laclede County had a maintenance agreement that Laclede County would take care of the east side of Normandy Drive, with Special Road District number 1 boundary, and Laclede County would then take over and maintain Nellwood, which is on the east side of Normandy, and then Phillipsburg Special District 3 would maintain Dunklin Road west of Normandy. So, and I get why they did this, because it's just kind of a pain trying to figure out how far basically, it was like if you lived on the northern side of Dunklin, you were county. If you lived on the southern side of Dunklin, you were special road 3. So you maintained a half a road, a side of the road, which was really difficult. But I think they probably had some working thing where they didn't do half and half. Somebody just did so far down, somebody did so far back on that. And in reality, that probably works pretty good, except for we have a special road district that hasn't done a very good job on that road. And as a result, in the 8 years that I've been here, Dunklin has been a thorn, a major thorn, to the point that we've at times addressed it and done some work on that road, sent a grader down it to help out. We have done multiple things on that road, took brush cutters down it and get the trees and stuff back, even because Silberberg has had their hands full, I guess. I understand their position as well. But through all of that, what has been somewhat missed is the taxpayer. I've had people that cannot vote for those special road commissioners and keep them accountable. So you have people that are supposed to take care of the road, not take care of it. They've gone to meetings, they've made their phone calls, and they don't get anything returned from it because guess what? They can't even vote for them. So where do they turn to? Back to where the guys that they can vote for and say, this is not a good situation. And it's not a good situation. Most of the time, it's just like, if you don't hear anything, I think either one or two things have happened. They've kind of ran a grader down there back and forth, or the taxpayers just kind of gave up. Well, there's some folks on that road that don't give up, I promise you. And so can't vote for the people that are taking care of the roads that you're supposed to be in, and your taxes are going into Laclede County over to Common. Well, now we have a situation that somebody decided, I'm going to run for that Silberberg road district. And guess what? He cannot, because he lives in the Common road side. And he can't even have an input that way because he can't run for that board. And so what this and this is an innocent road maintenance agreement, but it has impacted the ability for the taxpayer to have representation. We get the call, and there's really not anything we can do about it. We say, well, call the special road district in Silberberg. Well, I pay my taxes to you guys. Well, we do have an agreement, but they're not. We can call over and say, would you guys please send a grader down through there? They need some rock, they need the ditches cleaned, they need the brush cut, whatever. And it is not an easy road to maintain at any stretch. I would give them that. Would you do the same? It's a hilly, dude, and it's not fun. But I think it's risen to the point that this is probably a point that needs to be addressed. And if we either give the tax money to the special road district off that road, draw the boundary back out of it, give it to them so these guys can run for Silberberg Special Road District and have input on how those roads are being done, or we take it back over and we're responsible for it. I think that this taxation without representation is a thing that is not fair. And it hasn't been fair. We've been trying to make it right. And this last deal where somebody decided, I'm going to run because I'm tired of my road being like this and all the other roads in this area. And then he finds out he can't run because he lives and pays taxes in the Common road side of the road. Not fair. And it is, we know about it now, and it needs to be, if it could be resolved today, and this guy's calling me right now. I didn't even know he was going to do that, but I talked to him last week. And he'd like to sign up, and today's the last day to sign up to run for special road districts. There's the discussion, and I didn't want to be here till 4 o'clock. I really didn't.
Well,
All right, you can have that back. But I'll tell you, it's not fair, and it's been an 8-year deal, and it's not fair for us to do our side of it, and the other side of it just kind of go, we'll take care of that when they get to it, type thing. And I get it. They got one guy doing all of their roads, and he's not going to be able to do. But it really, we have done a disservice to the folks that pay the taxes out there because of the decisions we've done.
all right, Darrell, so you and I are good point, counterpoint.
Okay. Yep.
So we'll have some discussion. Neither of us were here whenever that agreement was reached. Just anecdotally though, that road's been named after you and me because I live out there and we see, if you have issues with the road, call Darrell.
Call Darrell, he'll get it done.
And call Randy, and it's got his phone number, and it's out there on a utility pole. So that's a memorial tribute to you. Okay, so please keep that in mind. If you give up this road, you're gonna have to give up that road being named after you.
Take my road sign down. That's a coordinate for 911 now. That's it.
But
Dirty Darrell's Road.
But as in most things, it deserves maybe a second look. But depending on what the resolution is, then there's going to be people that are going to call on Nailwood, a road that has been really taken care of extremely well for the number of houses that are back there. And then those people are going to be calling and saying, okay, how come you're not taking care of my road? So depending on what outcome might come of this, there's going to be some people win, some people lose, unless the commission decides out of our good nature, we're going to absorb this into our costs. And then you have to keep in mind, as we've discussed over the years, the impact that has on other taxpayers then that are paying the taxes for common road. And then their road maybe gets neglected a little bit because now we're taking care of roads outside of our boundaries. And the only way you're going to change the boundaries, and Linda, correct me if I'm wrong, but the only way you're going to change the boundaries is if you have an election to change those boundaries. Those are political boundaries. And so it would take effort to make that happen so that this individual now would reside in the district that he would like to seek office for. So that looks to me like a harder thing to get done than maybe some other type of agreement. And then we have boundary roads with Camden, Pulaski, and Dallas County, where we have mutual aid agreements, if you will, where we'll take care of this part if you take care of that, so that we're not sending a grader out of our way and they're not sending a grader out of their way. So this situation is not unique in that sense. It just so happens that it's maybe a little closer to home, so to speak. And so I'm, anything that was done in 2013, that was I'm going to say that the two commissions got together and believe that was the best path forward at that time. A new commission may take a different look at that. But to allow this individual to be eligible to seek that office, I think that's really going to be a stretch to make that happen. Now, if his road is improved, then maybe that becomes a moot point, because maybe that's not the ulterior motive, but maybe that's the motivation to do that. I certainly don't know. And I have relatives that, call me that, I have to say, no, I can't do anything on that road because we have an agreement. And so I'm certainly
do the pay Nailwood, is that special 3 taxpayers?
You're asking if the road is?
Yeah, I don't even know. I mean, it's odd that that would be,
It's special.
so it comes up to, includes Nellwood, everything on that south side.
I think, and Linda will confirm, but I think Special 3 goes over to, crosses the railroad tracks and goes over maybe to,
Yeah,
starts with an N. Norton. Yeah.
See if we had a whiteboard, we could actually draw it up here.
Yeah, we've got a really nice whiteboard down that we didn't use in the construction 911. Maybe now that you're gone, and that was one of the things you wanted to do, we can get it done. This is going to be a fun day, right?
You know, this document was made, everybody had good intentions in mind. And now one side of the deal is not working for some people.
Yeah, it's not working
And
for the
so
taxpayer.
it's time to relook at it from a different angle of what we know now to be the problem and see how the best way to address it.
The problem won't go away
Right.
if the road's not taken care of.
Right.
So the problem's going to continue to exist.
Until somebody.
Yeah,
thinks
and
they're
then you're going to
diligent.
set the expectation that, hey, this road's going to get a lot of attention, and then I can look at a road out here that's 6 miles in length that's had less than 10 loads of rock put on it in the last 4 years. So what do I say to that person when they call in and ask one of these guys or me or you and say, how come you're not taking care of my road? The road's still going to need to be taken care of irregardless. And then would you be setting the expectation higher by saying, okay, we've taken that in, we're making a commitment, although it's not a commitment, but by our actions, it's suggesting a commitment that, hey, this road's going to look.
So
I'm just trying to be
Yeah.
point counterpoint.
I agree. And it ultimately comes down to everybody votes for these positions right here. Everybody in the county, except for the east side votes for you, the west side of it votes for this seat. And so they might be in on this Phillipsburg special road thing, but they're voting for Laclede County Western Commissioner and a presiding commissioner. That's where the rubber hits the road, is that if these guys are not taking care of the road in a satisfactory way, and we can't get the results that people out there at least feel like that they should be entitled to, because they pay their taxes either on Phillipsburg or in special or the Common Road District 4. We have in fact just said in some situations, I know that's Phillipsburg, but we're paving this. And that's a portion on Normandy. And we just did it and just said, we can either have Normandy paved except for this area right through here, or there's some paving it. Because it's just, you can't just go and say, okay, well, up to here is good, and then they gotta, because Phillipsburg doesn't, or Conway doesn't, or whatever it is, what other opportunity could be out there. We've just took the bigger approach of it, the high road, and just took care of the situation. And I think that's where this is at. I don't know where, how, ultimately, we have made decisions that is the best interest of the taxpayer. And that's where this one's at. It felt like, okay, best interest would be not for us to take half of the road and they take half the road, and that's not working. Let's just let one take one part and we'll take the other part. Well, it probably worked for a little bit, but now we got somebody that doesn't want to do their part. So it's like, here we are.
Darrell, at midnight, you don't have to worry about
I don't gotta worry about that no more, but it is something that I would love to have this fixed. I didn't know we had somebody who was gonna be running, and I don't think he had any idea he wasn't gonna be able to run. And now he's prohibited from running to impact the road that he lives on, which is not, it's another black mark against this agreement.
Well,
I don't like taxation without representation.
So, point counterpoint, okay?
Okay.
If you own property in the city of Lebanon,
Oh yeah, I pay special road district.
yeah, can you run for that board?
I don't know, I never tried, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
I have never tried. I don't know whether you can or not, but that's a,
If you live on a special road, one of those. And they're
I would think you could probably run for it. If you're a taxpayer,
So
maybe you
if
could. I
you're,
don't know.
if you're a property owner in the city of Lebanon, can
Yeah.
you run for city council?
If you're property owner, if you
And-
are
but
if you live outside of city limits,
But
you
your
cannot.
residence is outside the city.
Yeah, you cannot.
Okay.
You cannot. You're a contributor and that's it. But you do benefit from having your business inside the city limits in the city. Services, and I don't know. But you can show up and raise all kinds of cane still, I guess,
You can do that no matter where you live.
wherever you live at.
And
And-
that particular gentleman that you're talking about, I've spoke with him for the last 6 years on staff.
Yeah, they're not happy
And
out
he's
there.
right there at the corner of Dunklin and Monroe and everything
Yep.
hits.
Mhm.
I mean, he's right there,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so I don't know where that.
Yeah, but he's on the north side of
I can
that
show you where
Dunklin.
he's at.
Yeah,
And so
what I'm saying with
that's
that
where he
line,
pays.
That line goes straight Dunklin up through there, back over at A Highway area,
Yeah.
you know, gets all that cattail and
Mhm.
all that through there. So.
And then there's others that live on the
I
other
thought-
side of
I
that
wanted to
road.
talk to him when he first hit me with it to run for the board.
Yeah.
I told him
Yeah.
to. I said,
Mhm.
you know, I don't know where the accountability's at, how anybody can hold them accountable. Seems like that the county should be able to help hold accountable
We can't.
interparks.
We don't. We
I
can't.
don't
We
know
don't
how the
put.
statutes run.
There you go.
You can't. They are independent. They're voted on. I've suggested if they don't like that, dissolve it and show up and dissolve their Phillipsburg Special Road
Bring it
District.
to a vote.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to be here.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, there's not an easy fix, but if you're not happy with what's going on,
Be involved.
it's on you to fix what it is that's not going on. So they can figure that out, or they can just live day to day. And so we're going down. Where is Normandy at? Here, there it is. Okay.
There you're going west, east. So that's north, south.
North side. This
Here's
is the.
what you're talking about there.
So is that what this red line is? Is that the?
The colors.
The colors Linda has.
Oh, it's the colors.
Yeah, the purple is special 3, the blue is common.
Mm-hmm. And so
And he's
right,
over here
he's
in the
right.
corner.
Yeah, you
Right
can,
here.
there's your mouse, you can move it if you want.
I think he's
I don't know how to
Keep,
choose them.
keep going.
Monroe. He's right here.
Keep going.
Right on the corner.
Kind of just move it like that.
Correct.
Grab it.
Yeah, he's on the corner of
Oh,
Monroe.
there's A right there. So, yeah,
He's
yeah.
right here at this
He's on
corner.
the
He's,
north side.
he's right in there. Isn't he?
Mm-hmm. And I probably would be happy if I pay my taxes to Ford take care of my road.
Well,
Because-
he is paying taxes to common, and we are using those tax dollars to take care of common county roads.
Yeah. We're taking care of, at
And-
least he
and
can
I
drive
pay-
Normandy well.
And you and I pay taxes in
I
special
know
lot 1, and we don't drive those, well, we do,
Right.
but we don't live on those roads. But we do use them, right?
Mhm.
So,
The greater good, but this is that's a situation that needs to be resolved, either through, and you can't, once you sign the letter, you're taking care of this and you call down there, yeah, we just don't, we got one guy. Okay? So,
How many feet, tenths, or whatever we talking about?
I think that's If I was guessing, that's probably roughly 2.5 miles down to Monroe from
Sections
Normandy.
are typically a mile.
So
It's
this
a lot
one-
up and down, so I don't
Section
know,
blocks there.
I'm not really quite sure what that
You've
distance
got-
is.
You've got 2 miles there then. There,
Okay.
you got a mile there and you got a
Probably.
mile.
And it's not an easy road.
No, it is not, no easy road. And I don't,
You've got a mile back over here, cause we stop at the railroad tracks, right?
and this is,
And then we take here
Nelwood right there.
right here. And then I think somebody's purchased this property back in here, I understand, maybe gonna build houses, so you're gonna have more demand.
Yeah, there's
Probably
not
on
enough
that
right
road
away on that road
Going back into.
to improve
into
it
there.
much anyway.
I don't know that.
I just
that's what I-
rode that recently with Mike, so Nelwood is,
It's a narrow, well-maintained road.
maintained better than Dunklin, which is a
Probably so.
lot more traffic. Yeah.
I don't, I can't disavow that. And if you really wanna open something up, my uncle says he owns that road there.
And Elwood, well, we can give it
Because
back
of
to him.
Cause he owns this property right here.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I think once it's been used as a
Once
county
we've done it
road,
for
it's
that
not gonna
long,
make
it's-
any difference, but-
We're maintaining it. We found that out. And,
Earlier years.
yeah. If you maintain it, you're maintaining it. I bring that up, just knowing that it needs a resolution. It is an ongoing thing that has now got from the taxpayers pay in and they don't get the benefit out of it that it should be. They can't vote for commissioners that affect their roads, and they can't run now for that office. So it's just different. It's a
That document still there?
I had it here. There it is. Joe, it's your problem.
Not really a problem, it's a situation, I think.
It's a situation, and Erik and Randy, there's a problem that continues and has manifested itself in another direction now that has to have some kind of resolution. I believe, whether it stays with the same kind of agreement or that it just is that as a elected person that people can vote for there, that you want accountable, you want to be held accountable, you will hold others as accountable as they hold you. And they are not doing the work on that road that it deserves to have for the taxpayers. And that's unfortunate. And if we had that with any other, we would just say, we're taking that road back and you're taking your road back. And you can drive 3 miles around and take care of that little piece of road if you're in Dallas County, that kind of situation. And this one, we're not far off from getting there with graders. We're at Nelwood. So it's unfortunate.
Do you think we should maintenance county roads that are supported by taxpayer funds as property owners that are private roads?
I don't think we should take care of private roads.
Okay, I'm just curious.
Nope,
Are they a taxpayer?
they are, but those roads have had a process of being adopted into the county.
Okay.
And we're talking about 2 roads that are adopted by the county. At some point, they were county or a special.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Yeah, no, I hope, and you can look back, and I don't think we've ever even touched hardly a driveway unless we tore something up and had to do a little bit of work at the end of it to
Steve, you
take
got
care of pipes or something that we've done. But there's been a lot of requests to come down these private roads.
Entertain any questions you have real quick.
Okay.
if you wanna do that.
I've got your phone number, Steve, okay?
A lot of requests to take care of some private roads, and we have remained firm and committed that those are not county maintained roads. They've never been adopted. And the only way that they would be is if they brought up the county specs, and everybody that would be in agreement. There's a process to get them adopted by the county. These are already adopted by the county. They're
Well,
already in
I'm
the-
just trying to think of the tax statement.
Yeah. No, I agree. I paid my county taxes out there today, and so there's some people there that I talked with, and they said, "Boy, isn't it great that we get to live here and pay our county?" I said, "Well, there's ways to look at it. There's, if you compare, we're probably pretty good shape compared to what some places that you could be paying your county taxes at." Even though we never truly get to own anything here because we're paying our taxes on it every year. So I get that. Taxes are fun. But as a road commissioner, where we get, that is probably in the public eye, 90% of what they think is that everything you do is just taking care of the roads. This is one of them that has, and I can look at, we've resolved some things with roads.
I think, Darrell, we have, to your credit, we have offered mutual assistance out there.
Yeah.
And so we probably have done more than our part on that road. And again, I look at it compared to other roads that we maintain. The condition of this road compared to, we could probably find 20 other roads in common road that we could say the same thing about, except they could vote for a commissioner, to your point.
Yeah.
But as far as the condition of the road, and I think that's what this comes down to. This really comes down to the condition of the road, and someone is wanting to offer their help,
yeah,
by way of elected service to try and see if they can reprove it. But they have 100 miles of county road they've got to take care of on about $169,000 budget. And I think the realization we see here around this table is all of us want to do more, and we want to provide the best we can with what we're given to work with, but we still are not able to accomplish all that we want to. I think it's been better the last 3 or 4 years, but I know that each of us here want to do more, but there's still roads out there that are probably like this one.
So,
and I think that's what it comes down to.
yeah, my biggest concern is that for the future is that there may be an issue where they finally say, we're going to dissolve this special road district and tag. And if you can, that's a lot of miles to go back in, and potential that the county would come back and look at and potentially have to, I don't know how that works, go back and go into the common road district. Those are some scenarios out there that and I don't hear a lot from some of the other roads, but there are some issues on some of those out there. I've heard frequently, not too frequently. This one is a sore that just will not heal. It may be because there was a time when it was better, that road.
There probably was when I was a kid and I rode that around there on my Honda 90, and the milk truck went by and the mail carrier went by, and I don't think I skipped school, but maybe if the school bus went by. But look at the traffic today, And I think that's part of what we deal with on all these roads today.
Yep.
You know, Normandy, back in the day, literally when I was home from school, there was three vehicles went by, and I could tell by the engine what they were, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're up against. So is your suggestion to for the incoming commission to review this? Is that what you'd like to see?
I would. This is a situation that is not resolving itself. We've made contacts. I've made phone calls. I've visited with commissioners in the past with Silberberg, and really, it's almost like talking to that donut box. I get nothing out of it. I mean, there's something in that box, but it's literally, there's nothing. Their hands are, they're like, you know, they'll come back with the miles, the amount of dollars per miles that they have. Their maintenance is not going to be sufficient to take care of in a level capacity what they think the county can do. And we've had those conversations. I've heard those for years through those guys out there. It hasn't got any better. We know what the cost of everything has gone up, but that doesn't resolve. That doesn't keep us from our commitments that we have part of that road that we're responsible for. And our responsibility, we've said, all right, we're going to let them take care of it. We're going to take care of their stuff, and they're not taking care of it. So if they're not taking care of it, we have taxpayers that actually vote. All of them vote for the West Commissioner and the presiding. We're just not doing a good thing for our taxpayers there by allowing it to continue to, and now they can't run, they can't vote for their commissioners there. It's just it seems like I'm just going over and over, but it is, I would like to see something done. And I don't know. I don't know the process to give something to them or change a boundary, but that's probably what needs to be done, so that we don't have a half a road here and half road there. In lieu of that, we don't have a party that's willing to do their fair work on a situation. If they're not willing to do that, then we shouldn't be in agreement with them. We wouldn't do that with any service provider that's not doing a ample job and keep a service for our county in anything, let alone do an agreement for service that is not going to keep their end of it.
Who takes care of the road?
Silberberg. You can drive some of those roads out there and they're like, that's great. And then you get to Dunklin, it's like, they're just not, I don't know what it is. They're just not going to take care of it. I think they think if we just don't take care of it, the county will just take it all back over.
Like some of your accountability you're talking about, what we mentioned earlier, and just like what you said, with that commissions out there, I've tried to speak with them. I couldn't even get them to tell me when they even have commission meetings and stuff. I finally got one of them to tell me when those are. Of course, those fall at the same time as these do, and everything. So I tried to discuss with him because he was willing to listen and everything. But
one of them
he is not going to be running this time around.
Yeah, one that was probably doing as good as accountability as you could call. He's not going to run again.
That's what
Kind of had it.
Where he's going to go ahead and run, but now he can't because of his actual homestead is not on the right side of the road, on the wrong side of the track, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to look into it. I've already said some stuff. I've already talked to some state representatives on it, some other things as well. So.
I think it's all that's been looked at. All that's been
just like what you said. The main thing is the road. It's going to have to be taken care of eventually. Now, if they take, how like Randy said, they're running through a vote, dissolve that, their special part. Maybe that's what it's going to take. It dissolves, and then we will have to face that. And go from there when that time comes up. If they don't, maybe something else will get figured out.
And then you will not have the tax revenue to be able to, you'll reduce the tax revenue on that by about 1/2. And I don't know that will do anything to improve the condition of those roads when you reduce the tax revenue. But you guys could have 10 graders then. That would be the thing. We would have 10 graders.
Got a shop over
It's
there. We
near
got
the
lots
end of the
good stuff.
year. I'm starting to lose it a little bit, and it's only 11:15, and we're going to be here at
You're
4
giving them
o'clock. So
I've gotta go before the.
You can't.
License bureau, so.
well, we are going to break from noon to 1, so
Okay.
you can do it then.
I'm not back in time. Like-
No, so it's
Yeah,
it obviously is. It's been a good discussion.
Yeah.
It's not the first time we've had the discussion. It's not gonna be the last time we have the discussion. I don't know what the resolution is, but I think it needs to be given a lot of thought as to what the consequences are going to look like once something changes. Does that really change what the desired outcome is? And that's just where I'm at. So, is there any? And it's your day, Darrell.
Yeah, well, I didn't really think there was something I could get done to allow him to run today. Honestly, I felt like that was probably a non-starter. There's no way that we can get something across the finish line today. Allow him to come in and run for that. However, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to try.
Sure. Sure.
Because it's an injustice, really. Again, if there was another county that we did mutual considerations and they didn't take care of their end, we would stop taking care of that end, or we end up doing both of them because that's the county we are. We would take care of the job that needs to be done for our citizens. And that's the problem that we're looking at. It don't matter if it's Phillipsburg or if it's Conway, and we give $36,200 to Conway to take care of a bridge that we're not due. We are the county commission that says our citizens deserve better than what they're getting. And this end of this bargain is not working for those citizens, and they deserve better than this. And that's kind of where it's at. If you have to go back out and just say, well, take this one on and we're going to do it because it's the right thing to do. It's just hard thing to do. It's not that hard. You just say, we're going to do it and be done with it. Don't ask us for anything in the future, Phillipsburg. And that's how you got to do it. Make a hard decision. That's what we get these seats for, is to do that. And we can't get people to run on your board. We can't get people to hold you accountable for your decisions and non-work on their road. And that's bad for you. But as far as it goes for us, we're going to do the right thing for you. And that is your taxpayer. And we're going to take care of that road or take care of whatever this issue is. And that's how I think that's how we've kind of, at the end of the day, tried to do as a county commission. So,
well, there are some remaining ARPA funds. Do you want to allocate any of those to Phillipsburg Special 3?
I do
I mean,
not
if you're
think
looking
that
for a
any amount of money
solution,
we would give to Phillipsburg would solve that
That's,
road on Dunklin.
That's an option that could be put out there.
You see, Darrell, I think that's the whole problem here. You've got 4 separate road districts. Not a one of us are on the same level in how we take care of roads. And the dividing line in between is what is the problem here. So, there's not a great answer until the commissioners of each board sit down and have the discussion. What are we going to do and how are we going to do it? That's the problem, is where the line is.
Now, when you want to start talking about graders,
Yeah, let's go to that.
you want to do
discussion.
that?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and go there, I guess.
Or
No,
or
it needs to be
P-
resolved.
PPE? You want to talk about PPE?
Yeah. No, we'll go to I just had that.
I don't wanna go
add
from
that into Dunklin.
one to another. But it's gotta be done.
Yeah,
It's gotta be done.
yeah.
So I had Leanna make, since we've owned Grader 49, we've put 49,626.14 in that grader since we purchased it. We've owned it apparently 6 years, a little over 6 years. And I think we did quite a bit of work. Looks like we did in 22, cylinder head gasket. Since then, wear sleeves, we fixed the air conditioner, transmission oil pump, which I understand transmission's the problem right now. We've done some work on it. Brake accumulator, here we fixed the air conditioner again for $2,500. Did something on the engine, just troubleshoot. Brake accumulators, we've spent another $1,340, $360, $358. Here's a transmission control that maybe is led into where we're at right now. That's another $1,400. The estimate to repair that grader is $41,867.92. That's going to push it up there to $100,000 since we've owned it. I just ran numbers just for fun. When we lease a grader, there's other factors in here, okay? And I've not been an advocate for leasing graders. I've wanted ownership on those because I feel like there's still a way to do it. I haven't got there yet, much like Dunklin, okay? But on a road grader that we lease, I came up with a number that we spend about $35 an hour, and this isn't labor, this isn't lease, this is just maintenance type stuff, okay? Okay, on this one that we've got this amount of money in, not including whatever we purchased it for, I have no idea. $110,000. So conceivably, we're gonna have $210,000 in a grader that's 6 years old and has.
No, it's a 2009 model.
Oh, okay, misspoke. 6 years of ownership for us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I misspoke. And it's got at the end of the year, it's got 7,160 hours on it. But the repair on that's cost us $73 per hour for what we've used it for, at least in the last 3 years here. Last year we used it 131 hours. 23 we used it 536 hours, and 22 we used it 589. Don't know what all that means, but I think it's time to get it on down the road. I can't see. I mean, have we done enough that we put another 41,000 in it that it's going to be good for another 1,000 hours? You know, or is it just time to bail on it and say we just need to quit letting this one nickel and dime us to death for the amount of hours we get to use it? So I think that's one thing to look at.
How many hours is on it?
7160.
Yeah, I think it's hit its top end, but I don't think I quite agree with you that we should maybe replace it. And part of that reason is that we have used some put hours on it prior to this last year. I don't know what maybe there's something with getting 2 and 3 graders and whatever that might be, and we're getting the roads up into the improved point where we don't have to go back in and rebuild all these as much as what we were. But we're changing from a 3-year grader lease to a 5-year. In 3 years, probably not often that you're going to be down a grader. I mean, it can happen, but not as probably as often as now you get into year 4 and 5 and you've got more hours on those things, and the likelihood of those things becoming incapacitated at some point is going to grow. I mean, it just happens. we have insurance and we have something that where they'll be repaired, but you're gonna be without the service of that grader as well. More apt to be down than they would be from year 1 to 3. So that's another reason why I think that you might consider having that, especially if, all right, so we're down and we got to go lease one or we got to go rent one, and the rentals are very expensive.
Well, being an advocate for 8 graders instead of 9,
Right. And we
you know, it's
those are good discussions.
Yeah,
we
and I'm going to spare that discussion. You guys don't deserve that today. So
being a guy that has had a territory with just 3 graders and having the experience of having 3 graders in your Western district, I would fight vehemently not to go back to 3 on the west side. That's not how the West was won. It just is not.
Can some of you guys go out there and round up some public so we can have a public hearing on budget? Just round them up and bring them in.
And so that's kind of why we got the 9.
Jack, you can do a commercial break on that comment, okay, please? Okay.
The West was never won by going back.
Are we
to
live
3.
or Memorex?
We're not live.
Okay, good. Good.
But you know, if we're spending $75 an hour on that grader,
73.
we can lease one, or not an hour, but you know what I'm saying. We could lease one for the 1 or 2 times a year rather than paying the $40,000 when we need one, and not have the upkeep of that grader.
And again, I'm just trying to put this in context of the remaining balance, whether that's the direction we want to go. Now, just to segue into something else, I think one of the issues that we hear repeatedly is the right-of-way clearing, and I would be an advocate for seeing if there's any way we could bring in another mower and be able to take care of that. So I would rather see us invest, this is my opinion, and I haven't looked at the cost of anything yet. I know Mike is going to have something in our budget to present, but if we ended up with 60, 70,000 left here to consider where we're going to put it, I'm not so sure that I wouldn't go that way, because oftentimes I'll hear more frequently, well, we've got a brush cutter down, and it's always at the worst time of the year. So I'm trying to rationalize in my mind the trade-off of having a spare grader versus that brush cutter. Both are needs, okay? But we generally have a brush cutter down somewhere at some time.
It may be time to take the backup brush cutter and the backup grader and move those on and get a better brush cutter.
That's just an alternative that I'd like to present, and we wouldn't be able to fund the whole thing, but we're not going to be able to fund this whole purchase of this grader either, unless we said, okay, we're going to repair it, right? And I don't think I'm hearing any consensus to put any more money in this grader. So I'm just suggesting as another alternative for discussion, a brush cutter as opposed to.
Sounds like they're going to be kind of similar in taking a grader off lease cost and maybe a brush cutter.
Yeah. The brush cutter I'd seen that's going to be requested in budgets.
Well, that's a
lot.
That's a high dollar one.
Yeah, but I think, we just replaced that one that was an insurance claim, and it was about 175, 180, and a grader off lease is 160.
Yeah,
so we're
in
close.
the same range.
We're close.
I think you're looking at about 2 or 3, depending on which one you choose.
Yeah. And I've looked at maintenance around the campus. there's been a lot of maintenance work that's been done. We have maintenance planned for next year out of these funds. We see more people use the 2nd Street entrance, and I think that's been a good addition. People standing out there underneath the awning this morning instead of standing in the rain. So I think campus-wide, we've I think done what was necessary, what had to be done, but we've kind of brought the campus up in good shape. There'll be unexpected repairs, but I don't see anything that we need to do. Now the building down here, every time there's a big wind, there's shingles laying out in the lawn down here. So, we might need to put a roof on it at some point, the old MU building down here on the corner. I haven't got a price on that, and it's too late. That may have to come out of repair and upkeep some year, but that may need to be done. We've got some remodel expense, not much, I don't think, over where MU moved from. If we restructure that for county use over there, if there's any offices that need change for storage, whatever that might look like, any walls taken out, added, whatever, but we can take that over repair and upkeep. So I just bringing that back around. We've purchased computers that we needed. So IT wise, I think we're in good shape there. So I'm coming back around to Road and Bridge on those two. Can I take this call? I've got a grandson that I need to.
Well, I'm gonna sneak down the hall while you're doing that.
So Linda,
Hey, let's go collude.
these ARPA funds are, they have to be committed. They can't just be say, well, we'll roll them over into the new year and spend them however they gotta be spent.
You gotta have a tag to them.
Yeah, so that's all this stuff's great, but if you don't have it committed, that it's going to go towards like we've got quotes and we have bids on some of these things that were without a quote or bid, like on a brush cutter.
Well, you know what it is. You got state bids, so.
So we could say,
Yeah.
that's a state bid.
Yeah.
So if there's 90,000, I don't know how much, you got 100,000, looks like, and this is just all for informational purposes on my mind. If we had 6 and 72, 6,000, 13,000, say it's 15,000 so far. It looks like Road and Bridge is kind of stuff that they were asking for. And out of the 100, we'd have about 85,000 left. Give or take, 85. To get it to 160 and make a
Okay,
I don't think I had the flag on that either, so
Yeah, I
that's.
was gonna say, that's really.
We really can't put a number on the furnace, or we can.
We
but
could.
We're not going to put that 47 in there.
I thought it was 16.5, so I don't know why
Yeah.
I come up with 47.
So we have that. We had that, and then you said 26, so we're at 396. So we've still got about 100,000 before we start working on today's stuff.
And that's where I was kind of just, all right, Road and Bridge looks like theirs is about 72 and 6, about 13.5 if we did a building and the heater and the office thing.
Okay.
Consider the lag at 16.
So 13.5.
That puts you at
That's about 20,000 then, and that leaves you about 80.
Yeah, that'll leave you, that still leave you about, I'm kind of fudging on this number here because I don't know, because that's a couple weeks old. But we still might be having 80, 90,000, yeah.
So so what I was asking, Linda, there is state bids out there on those mowers. So we could say that is a target price, and if you've got 85 or 90, whatever it ends up being. So let's talk about those sweep funds. What would that look like if we took this 85 or 90 and then combine that? Would we be able to go out and put that as a full purchase then?
can I ask what you're calling the sweep fund? So I'm on the
Yeah, that
same
is-
page you are.
Well,
Sweep funds is just clearing the account.
exactly, that's what I'm looking at.
So you are using those clearing accounts to say to put it towards an equipment.
Right.
It's one and the same.
And that's what I'm looking at.
One
And I
and
don't
the
know if
same.
there's anything, those dollars, would then be combined, and then we can make a directional, decision today that this would take care of that purchase price.
That 80,000 would go towards purchase price.
Right.
Yeah. Then there would be no sweep. Because there wouldn't be anything left.
So then it would just stay in the GR,
They would stay in ARPA.
in ARPA.
It has to be committed.
Right.
It would be committed.
Towards road and bridge equipment.
And then when we get into budget, then we could
You know,
figure
you have
out.
that commitment, now you've got to,
Yeah, now
figure out.
we gotta come up with a.
well, what about directing, what we were going to pay for this out here on this side with, improvement, capital improvement.
Budget.
So it's back to budget again, so you could go that direction with it. If the dollars were not there within the budget process, pull that remaining out of that.
Well,
take care of the purchase.
and then taking a deeper dive into the road and bridge budget.
Yeah.
May offer some direction as to
Yeah.
what that may look like as well. You know, there's obviously not a lot there to move around, but there could be a couple of things that I could look at and say, okay, maybe we could do
Mhm.
10 or 20,000 out of that one, and maybe help get towards the full purchase price.
I'm not a huge fan of saying, oh, we'll just apply this ARPA towards payroll. But you're really kind of, if you did it towards payroll, you just free up payroll dollars going into the budget that goes back towards with purchasing. So it's just kind of a
Yeah.
whichever direction, but I prefer not to be saying that, well, that's what we did with all these additional dollars.
And I agree with that. That's just the backstop that if we, at 4 o'clock, if we haven't.
Yeah.
If we haven't
If we haven't got there yet,
then that's where we need to be.
Yeah.
But that's not my preference, no.
yeah, I would agree. Well, I think that probably repairing the old one is not there. And whatever that salvage price will bring, it'll be whatever that salvage price will
And
bring.
I haven't talked to Mike. Is it completely undrivable?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because I wasn't under the impression that it was completely,
I just know it had this expense that
Yeah.
was potential could be.
Yeah.
that-
so the point of
Transmission.
that might be, you know, sell it as is, but if it's running and moving as is,
Right.
might help us
Better
on
than
the,
it
on
is.
the resale value than somebody looking at it, but, so we've reached a consensus not to do the grader repair.
Yeah, I don't think
Is
so.
that, David, you in on that?
Yeah, I definitely think we need to spend the 41,000 or 42, whatever it is, to
Okay.
repair that grader.
Let's take that one off the table then.
Off-lease grader, a brush cutter.
Well, I'm gonna be in for a brush cutter myself. And part of the reason, I think if you look 2 years out or 3 years out, some of those, well, maybe not. I thought some of those graders off lease was gonna be less than the ones next year. Probably wrong on that, now that I think about it. And just
Well-
actually see if we need to own a grader, or to David's point, if we really get to the point, and to your point, we've got a brand new one that's down right now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So,
And they'll rent you those. They're high.
Yeah, but we've rented them before,
Yeah.
and if the situation determines that we need one, then that's what we could do. But I think a lot of that comes to planning and management as well. You know, if it was a project that we could wait a month on, you know, knowing that we had one come back from repairs. But anyway,
Mhm.
enough of that.
those are decisions to be made going forward, that you would rent or whatever, and you get a year in your belt and decide, man, we missed that one extra, whatever.
Well,
I'm good
or,
with that. I
yeah.
don't force it on anybody.
Yeah, or, you know, when it comes time to buy one of those off lease, you know, see what it is. They're
You
for
got
in
one coming up.
October.
You got one coming up every year, so.
Yeah.
You can make that choice when
In
the next one comes up.
25, I think the last one's October, so.
I think it's worth a try to manage it, especially if we're paying $75 an hour for what we run on that one. At least not that much higher, if you need it. Now, if you don't need it, you got lucky.
Did we buy that when we had 8 graders? I think
Find what?
that came in when we bought it, was when we had 8 graders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
They got,
when we get into the full 5-year deal, you don't want to be looking at one to buy coming off lease. More than 5 years, so
no.
you want to do that before your last 3 year goes out, if it's a consideration going forward.
Yeah. Well, I like that path, and whether we can get there or not is what that, the brush cutter would look like, because we all know that is, you can't get it done, especially if you're finding out that you have problems with these things, and they just have problems. They are worked and beat up, and
Guys, we can't even make it 2 full rounds every year with what we have. And if we can add that way, because there's a lot of calls during the growing season of people wanting, can't see around corners, I understand that. So I think it's a definite worthy cause to look at another one. And I'm not real sure that I wouldn't consider the more expensive one.
Oh.
Yeah.
I have visions of a sign in mind on the
which
building out.
which road do you want your name put on out there? That's what I want to know.
So Darrell, reach out to Cottrell
Okay.
and see if he can get Jeff from Murphy Tractor, or whatever Jeff in it from Murphy Tractor, to get us a quote, like here within a couple hours on something less than the one on that he got us a quote on.
Buy lunch.
You know, if it's not too much trouble within the next 15 minutes. And you do need to do, here I'm pointing at you and telling you do need to do, excuse me for doing that. But Annette would really be a good article to do, that she's been sworn in 4 times in 4 years.
That is pretty interesting. Yeah, I was thinking about that.
We had an elected official that lasted maybe a couple weeks and resigned at that point in their tenure. And we were sitting here at this table and it was like, what are we going to do? There are people that need taken care of. And so she had worked in that office, and we picked up the phone and called her, and she said, well, let me think about it. How much time can I have? And we said 15 minutes. No, we want to know 15 minutes ago is what it was. But so that was an interim. She was appointed by Governor Parson, and then had to stand for election, and then election again.
Because it was an unexpired term.
Yeah. And then it was in the middle of the term, right? I mean, it wasn't, and then that is what prompted this one then.
And then
So-
she ran this one.
Yeah, so this would be her first truly full 4-year term. And I just can't imagine anywhere that would likely have happened in that sequence. If that makes Fox News or something, you know, give me credit for it, okay?
We'll put your name at the bottom.
Put my byline down there.
You're right.
Okay.
Byron Danny.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can think of another one to go along with that one.
Has Steve been on vacation?
He went last week and came back in, so he's been working away.
Yeah, I'd seen you'd done a couple of feature articles on the front page last week, maybe last issue or two, and I thought, well, Steve must be on vacation.
Yeah, vacations for newspapers are always strange, especially smaller ones. You're gonna have to pick which important days you're missing.
Sure.
Are we officially gonna have a budget here? Or just say,
Well,
everybody would like to speak to it?
I mean, we put on the agenda, so I guess what I'll do is, I figured maybe run an hour or so, and if nobody shows up, then, you know, we'll, however we need to close it out. I announced it early in the meeting that a budget hearing would take place at 10:30, and then since we have citizens here, we can make that a part of it. And other than that, I don't think I've ever had anybody here in 6 years that I remember. Somebody,
We have one. There it is. That was either or that was going into the budget for the new year.
okay,
That's the one that replicates the one we just got that
Okay.
replaced the burnt one.
sweet, we got what we need then.
Yep.
We could have looked at our budget.
I didn't look at that because it's not my deal about budgeting for next year, so you guys.
Here's it on the keyboard.
Where's
So-
the keyboard?
Well, I will make a motion that after that we do take the remaining funds after we finish it, that this would go towards commitment of a brush cutter. And this price through Murphy.
And we know they're on the state bid, so
They're on state
we
bid.
don't need to do anything else
And
on
we know
that.
what we got. We've got one that we just received. This is what it is.
Is it cutter and tractor?
My house maybe can do all this too.
Let's get that again. I don't need that one. Would you like me to expand that motion a little bit? I would expand that motion to include the,
Why don't we total up,
Okay.
tally a list and see how close we are.
Okay.
And then we will,
the list would be 7,200 for heating at the shop and air for the office. Either way we go, it's 7,200. The outbuilding was 5,760 delivered.
I had 53.55.
Well, I don't know if I got, that was off the
Here.
other quote. Yeah, this was a different spot. So we would look at
See
his
what's
quote
stacked.
on that. What do I do with that? And I'd say we give him one
this
building.
is American Trailer. Now, he had another quote.
I had that one on the very back, which was
Right,
used.
right.
There's one 5335. So
Yeah.
we had two different companies.
Duncan Sales, and I think those were all Duncan Sales out of Camden.
3330, and that's a 40-foot. So look at those closely, because it looks like they might be the least expensive. I
thought
don't
they
know if it was FOB or not.
1,
34. What's a 34? Must be used
their delivery charges are way less.
by far. Well, this is same thing.
No, that's AT&S, and this is Dunklin Trailers back there, Dunklin Sales.
Stratford and Camerton. Okay. I didn't recognize that before. It's the number one used 40-foot unit for Duncan Sales.
$72's on there, right?
Right here.
Is that what you're talking about? This one?
It must be the used one here then for
What's
3400.
this?
That's the
Three
heating units down at Broken Bridge.
Is that this?
Yes,
Okay, gotcha.
in two different companies, but
Same price.
same price, yeah. And do we know if that was
I
our
was calling the
final
number
that
one
we should work
used
from?
40-foot unit
Okay,
for 3330. And this one's 3400.
so I guess while we're just kind of tallying it up, I, just kind of make it official that we had a public hearing. Joe, is there anything at this point?
Not at this time, but
Okay, Erik,
5355 dealer.
and we'll consider this the public hearing as to what you is, yeah.
So not this.
Well, if
The
it's,
other one is new.
if it,
5500.
yeah, just generally, as someone who is not sitting here for a few hours, but you've been sworn in, right? But if there's something you see a need out in the county that maybe we haven't considered, is there anything? I mean, we're gonna obviously take a deep dive in the budget starting Thursday, but is there just interlead? You guys run the most recent campaign, so you would know, people bending your ears as to, hey, I'd like to see the county do this, or, I mean, just generally speaking.
Some paper approaches.
Get that used one?
And there may be, when we get to that,
The only thing you don't know is how used is used.
there might be a path forward with that, with MoDOT,
Roof is all.
and we'll discuss that. Morgan County's real heavy into that, and when we have our next TAC meeting,
Been there for
that might be something that
20 years.
the more counties that will do that might get MoDOT's attention, and it would be any approach to a state road. Yeah. And so that might move up onto the funding somehow. So, and we can explore any other option you have in mind, Erik, but that might be one that could be funded outside of our county budget. Jack, as a citizen of the community, or, is there things that as you travel and you meet with people, and I know you're engaged in the community in different ways or different organizations, is there anything that?
I think that one.
No, not off the top of my head.
Okay, then what I would do is, I would entertain a motion to conclude the public hearing of the 2025 budget. We've heard testimony from 3 people, right? I mean, and so it doesn't take a motion to do it? Okay. Darn. More. Maybe if we wait a couple weeks, so we can be more.
But
We can't do
this
this
may,
Wednesday.
interest may have increased too, as far as your deduction.
The interest ought to be deducted out of that.
No, not yet, because we haven't written it. This is cash balance.
Okay.
So whatever came in potentially in December's
Included in that.
hasn't been.
But you're not gonna know that until
Well, yeah,
Christie gets the,
I just don't
bank
know what
statement.
she-
okay, I'm gonna start making a separate list here.
Darrell's working on it.
Darrell's working, okay. So Duncan,
Yeah.
or,
5330 or whatever it was.
okay,
53.55.
53, 55, okay.
Heat and air is 7,200, whichever path you go.
Well, I definitely like this one because it's a larger unit.
Yeah, that 2,000.
Yeah. That one
And Henderson.
would be the best.
It's got
And
the
I-
larger
Okay,
tonnage.
yes, Eric.
Can it be split?
Sure. We could go with the low bid on one unit and the low bid on the other, if that's okay.
That's a low bid with the gas piping for a big unit.
Well, I didn't even see
The
that.
only-
I said
the
it
only
was
gas
going to
piping is gonna be
existing
Silberberg.
flue, gas line, and electrical.
Yeah.
Connect to the existing flue pipe, gas line, and electrical. So it's all, I think it's saying it's connecting to what you've got there. And the other one was, new flue and no gas piping. So basically, they're both saying where you connect to, that's where we're going to connect back to.
Henderson's is not going to mess with your propane or your natural gas pipe.
Your plumbing of it,
The
that's
plumbing.
what you're saying.
Yes.
Now, and that's where I was.
But they're natural gas out there now, so it's probably both of them connect to the existing. Well, Quality they're not saying they're putting new gas line,
They're not saying they're putting new gas line, but they are including gas line and electric.
they're saying connect to it.
Connected, the connecting of it.
I look at this. and I
Hey,
think
Mike,
like
can
that
you
quality-
firm up the quote you received on the oil furnace prior to the bid openings this morning? And make a call or whatever we need to have a final price on that. You wanna look and call me back? Okay, all right, just holler back at me, Mike. Thank you. Well, you guys do that. I'll be right back.
So that's the total of that.
Yeah, if we put that towards that. Looks like it's gonna have about 100,000 remaining. Seems weird.
I'm just listening to the clerk. I can still hear whenever you're not talking.
I understand. I have that effect sometimes.
Call, hey, Mike.
Qualities.
Yes.
Call Mike Evans over at United Electric so we can get we haven't seen a quote yet on what he was gonna do for the wiring over there. And we need that to put in some of our figures here. Now, did that price from that company include a tank? Was it a 500-gallon tank, or what was the other one?
Yes,
500-gallon tank.
And that was how much? 19,000 what?
$19,850.
Okay.
That's what I had down on the first
Okay.
time around.
All right, and then we would have to provide the electric, but we could probably incorporate that in with what the other work we need to do over there, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it said we'd have to provide a forklift.
Okay.
I'm assuming that's the lift in the unit.
that's it, yes.
Wow. Okay.
And, tank for 2,500.
Okay.
14
Well,
cents.
we'll
16.5, yeah. What I had.
figure that.
That
Okay,
47,000
call,
was like,
Do you have Mike Evans' phone number? Okay, why don't you call him? I think I had him send that to Mike Cheek's email, and she's looking for it. But we may not got that from him yet. Okay, thanks, and then holler back and let me know. Yeah, send it to Leanna and have her print it off and bring it in to us.
You must think it's Christmas.
All right, thanks, Mike.
New Year's is coming up. It's budget time.
prescription destroyer.
That might not be a bad idea, because I don't know what all he's got over there.
Yeah, he probably has a bunch of that. Apple computer, we don't have those in anywhere.
Okay, 19.5, did we decide anything while I was gone on the two quotes for the mini split over there?
I'm like David, I think I'd take the higher tonnage one for 3,400 from Henderson.
Okay. Was there two of those, or was there
There's
just
one.
Just one.
Yeah.
So just one of those.
And it's the same price as, or the other one is 4,000 for 1.5 ton, and they're both the same model
Okay.
or same make.
Okay.
So Henderson's is
Okay.
3,400.
Got. And we got 5760 on the storage container.
53.55.
53.55.
A rail car, that,
Yeah. And with that rate, we could do the prescription destroyer.
Well, you want me to call him? I mean, I kind of think, I don't know what that is, but if I'm not mistaken, there's
Doesn't the city do it?
a couple times a year. I don't know what this is. It's RX destroyer
Meds destroyers.
to destroy medications. I won't judge the spelling, but that's okay.
750 for red.
If we do that.
If we did it.
Yeah. Unless there's
I
something
didn't
else
see
on
anything
there.
else on the road, but those are stuff that's just been
To me, everything on there is budget.
Yeah.
Now,
printers.
the RX destroyer, well, that might be a different story, but still, yeah, it's
Could be office computers.
Yeah.
Not that. It's just stuff that we typically go
Cottrell
through.
asked me to bring that into you.
And he sure doesn't need a backup for his computers, because that's not managed.
What was
through
your
the
That's
asking
for
for?
the furnace.
Is that the fuel oil one?
Yeah.
And from a was that the guy that gave us the first off?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For
What happened between that guy and the other guy?
Here's, self-proposal. I guess these are multiple copies, so.
Are you signed in the Senate? Do you have it?
I never go there. If you,
Can I have it?
sure, let me get back in there
Sorry.
for you. You bet. I don't think I had some, I thought you gave that to
I think
Leanna.
Leanna did it, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have it.
I don't think I did.
I'm trying to find out your interest and it's getting a little complicated.
I don't know if you guys want a copy of that furnace or not, but Leanna printed 5. Yeah, I don't know. Hey, Mike. Ooh, well, that's dangerous, so now I'm gonna go in there and look. It's here, well, if he said he sent it, then it's here, but I don't recall getting it from him, but let me see how he put it in there. Under United. I thought he asked him to send it to Mike Cheek. I wonder if he sent it to my personal email. I'll have to look there. He may send it to the store because he's done business at the store, and maybe that's the email he had on file. All right, I will look for it, Mike. Thank you. Yeah.
You need it for yours.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find that, because that's something we need to throw in here.
Do we have a estimate on what it's gonna take to get the elevator repaired?
I don't know, but I'm ready.
That might be your $60,000 there. That it may be a brush cutter. And this is slow. But that may blow Mike's budget, you reckon? It's the network is, I can't.
That's okay.
It's just locked up on me. Wow.
Takes 2 keys to get in there.
So is this proposal is still active since it said expires December 19th?
We can verify, Joe, but I bet it would be. Well, Mike Cheek's leaving pretty early, isn't she? She's gonna leave this afternoon. I don't have that from Mike here, so I'll have to check my personal, I guess. I don't think
If you
I have
don't have
some.
it, then
I don't have some. Oh, damn, I don't have some.
Yeah.
Parts.
Oh, I'm okay. I was thinking another direction. How are you gonna miss it?
Not there yet.
I was looking at mine, it hasn't come into our Outlook.
What are we looking for?
Email. This supposedly was sent.
Mike said, yeah, this afternoon.
I got time.
Hey, Mike, hate to bother you. I can't find that, and Mike Cottrell said you're out on the road. Do you know about how much that was? I just need to plug in a number. Did you send it to the county or my personal or Bailey's TV? Do you know, Mike? It was the county. Okay. All right. I'll keep digging. I just okay.
Looking deleted was.
Well, and I'm not saying you did or didn't, Mike. I just can't find it, and yeah, yeah, yeah. So what you're saying, Mike, is that that I'm not the only one that forgets something, maybe. Okay. 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 Today, well, today's the last day we have to commit our ARPA funding. And if I just had a ballpark, I could work around that. But I'd really need a ballpark. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right. Okay. Okay. That'll help what we need to work with today. Okay. Okay. Thank. Okay. Okay. Sounds good, Mike. Thanks. Okay. Yeah. See if it's working. Okay. Okay.
I don't know. I called him about it.
Okay. Okay. And then Linda knows that I'm talking to you. Did you, the lights down at Dry Knob, do you still have those on your list? Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. So whenever you get back into town, just touch base with us, okay? And I'll find out about those parking lot lights, and then Linda can go over the Dry Knob lights with you. Did I lose you? Yeah, can you hear me? Okay. Okay, all right. Drive safe, and we'll talk to you when you get back, okay? Okay, thanks, Mike. Yeah, bye. I think he forgot. So there at the shop building, Mike was the electrical panel breakers with our current load on that. He was asking that be considered, and the work to be done over there, if you penciled in $7,500, and that includes some new LED lighting in the shop over there.
So don't hurt that at all.
If you want to put that on the list to consider. And he said that's just a number he remembers, but it's not the number, but he would cap it at that number, and if it's less, he would bill it out at the lesser price. But if we want to put that number in there, or if we want to take it out of road and bridge maintenance, we can do that too somehow. Okay, where are we at, Linda?
With this,
Yeah,
24,000-ish.
left.
Oh, no. I
Okay,
might have to get in
furnace,
there.
okay, let's put the furnace on there. 19,850. So we've got the 7,200, that's not what we're doing over at the shop, is it? We're just doing
Well, that was without the oil marker. That's going with
Yes.
propane, right?
Yeah, we're just doing the mini split over there for 3,400, was that right?
Well, I had included a 72, but if we just do the mini split, then it's 34. So I
We wasn't
took
gonna
it off.
do both the, or were we?
Yeah, you would
When we
need
got
a
the
shop gas.
40-some thousand bid, that kind of blew that out for me.
Yeah.
On the other one, but if this.
If it rolls back around to this,
Then you're wanting to do both of those over there.
well, you would need the office to be able to be in these.
Do the
So-
office of 3,400.
And that's the
then-
mini split.
Yeah.
And
For
then
the office.
Then the hang down heater or the oil heater
Back in the
for
shop.
Yeah.
Okay, so that stays at 7,200.
No, it doesn't save it. Only
Saves you about,
No, it
It'd be
stays,
3,400.
stays at 7,200.
no, depends if we decide to go with the oil heater or not. One of the newer price.
It's either
oil heater.
7,200 or we go with the oil heater for 14, whatever it is.
7,200.
So let's decide we want to go with the oil heater for 19,850. Are we on board with that?
I'm more on board with that than I was the 47,000.
Yeah,
I wasn't in for 47,000.
no, and neither was I. Are
I
we
think
in,
this makes better sense.
are we in for the 19,850?
It's closer to that.
I have mixed feelings. I'm on the fence.
Okay,
I think
It's about 3,000 higher than they projected, but I think the oil heater myself is a better, longer term process for us and save money on that shop bill.
it will save us money, but I'm somewhat concerned about reliability with the oil. When it gets real cold, you do still have some problems with it.
okay, now the tank they're gonna put inside the shop, okay, so that should help eliminate that, right? I
thought
think
the
that's
tank
part of
had
the
a
reason.
heater in it too.
Yeah, why we're buying the
Warmer. 500
storage unit, maybe so they can
Yep.
clear up some shop space. Eric, you come from this world. You got any thoughts on it?
He's a propane guy.
Well, I know,
Still.
but you don't sell propane now, do you?
I don't.
Okay,
And they do have access to a lot of used oil.
They do.
You're spending somewhere in the neighborhood of 5,000 to 6,000 on natural gas per year. Oh,
Yeah, I think that maybe,
I think that's probably, I think it was
I think it'd be a
1,000,
little more.
1,200 a
1,500.
month during the cold season, so.
Probably a little
6
more than
grand
that.
probably.
Probably 3 to 4 years. You're probably gonna have that thing paid for, barring any
Yeah.
great big catastrophes. The only thing I wonder is, do we have anybody local who can work on this if something goes wrong? It is just pieces and parts, like any other furnace would be, for the most part.
well, the way I understood Mike, when I asked him about it a couple weeks ago, this bid's coming out of Janesville, Wisconsin, but it's my understanding that they have local distributors. I think you mentioned one in the, if I just said the greater Kansas City area. So that would suggest to me the possibility that there's closer repair probability. It's a valid question. I have no experience on these units. So I absolutely, to me, I'm looking at it from the standpoint that long term, I think we can save money. We can use up that oil. We'll always have a supply of it. I would think, correct me if I'm wrong, I've got an old wood furnace, which is probably a bad analogy, that's 35 years old in my basement. The way it was constructed, it's held up really good, and that's probably a poor analogy, but I just imagine the how this would be built. You know, it would tend to hold up well. I don't know why I think that. I don't know what all's in there. You know, moving parts, you know, it just looks to me like you have fuel comes in and it's ignited somehow, and you're burning off that, and it doesn't, you know, I'm just trying to visualize in my mind what could go wrong with it.
Have you ever seen a longwood furnace?
Yeah. Kind of like
Same
that.
sort of principle without the wood.
And they do put in here a washable 100 micron oil filter. So I know that there's possibilities that, you know, we're going to have filters we're going to replace or something like that. But I'm just trying to think, do burners eventually, you know, like on a gas grill, you know?
Not well constructed ones.
Yeah.
I mean, yes,
Right.
they all have a shelf.
Right. I mean, if you buy a Napoleon, you're going to have burners that are going to last for years. And if you buy a $139 special, they're not going to last so long. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I'll be in for some M&Ms. As long as the jar's still open.
That's why I'm on the fence.
16,000 is about what you're doing. That's the difference. So,
Couple years, pay for itself, and we're getting rid of the oil.
That's where I'm at with it though and stuff, but I'm with David as well on that as far as, you know, I didn't see you said something about this got a heater in the tank. I don't see that in there. Maybe I missed it because I don't have my glasses.
I thought that's what it said early
I
on.
remember hearing something about it, but I don't see it.
That's, like I said, I don't have my glasses. Maybe I skipped it, and everything. But that's my deal with it, like with Erik there and with David, just the part of having somebody readily available that can get to it within a few hours if it does go down, you know. I'm for that because of the use of that oil and stuff that we have.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a good deal, like you say, a couple of years, 3 years, you paid for it and what we're spending. Anyway, we saved money actually. We've saved money in 3 years.
And we can bring our used oil.
Yeah.
Just donate to the county.
If need be, I mean, if it's gonna be that bad, exactly.
It's a good idea. Quit pouring it around the foundation of my house.
Yeah. Quit pouring it down the storm drain.
Yeah. Down the gravel road, stop up the dust.
It'll start paying for itself from day one because we're not buying it. ARPA's buying it.
Jim,
And
good
so,
morning. This is Randy Angst, Laclede County
he
Commission.
had some,
We're
and
looking at
then
a
they
sales
had somebody
proposal
come out and
for
get it, so they will be
Foreman.
having it.
We have some questions we'd like to
Have
ask
it.
about that. We have to make a decision today. Would you please give me a
It
call
said
back
here,
at
I thought this stuff took
417-588-7575?
time to get it all in and get it probably.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I think it's probably gonna take a little more longer because we got freight. It's got to be shipped in here.
Winter
If you got Conway,
I'm just
Yeah.
like, where are we going here? I'm
They
not
hope
sure what
not.
all
So
this
you
is.
need to keep us, because we're gonna trust your
Once they
numbers. So
rebuild,
we take all
it's
this.
gonna really work those
In
there
this.
next week.
So that's a total of 370.
Yeah, it's gonna work that in the wood heater.
Down in-
Don't trust my numbers.
Wood furnace
okay?
is going to be.
But
But they'll be there, like he said. They can be stoping that.
And they should.
Oh, that was easy, plus everything.
They have. I think they have been on top of that, but while they're there anyhow.
I hope they will continue to keep run
Do I need
Oh,
55
55.
throughout the process
I
of
think
that,
they will.
plus
even
13?
with getting.
Plus 12.
We're like less and less on
Plus
them.
With the furnace, getting anything in the office
36.
area, it's just into the shop.
Yeah, 200.
3620.
Yeah.
Put 4,000 on there for going through freight, and then your numbers there.
The only thing it's gonna be costing us is electricity,
Which would
which the wood burners probably
It's still
costing us all that too.
120 single.
Yeah, it's,
So it's not gonna cost you nothing no
No.
more than what the other furnaces are costing to run the fan motors.
420.
You run them off a 1400 watt generator.
if need be.
Well, you got it.
Here, just you guys just initial that, and we'll still have money left over. Okay, so Darrell, let me look at your list here.
All right, I'm gonna get this put back up in here then.
Okay. David, if you kept a list.
I resolved and let him finish. it.
Well, and I've been leaning on Linda, so.
I'm looking at them, making them do a double check here. Is signage 13?
Yes, yeah.
Now, my totals don't work down to the bottom right now, but because of,
Would
that-
you like me
that
to
total
get my
was working.
calculator?
there's where I be at.
Okay.
Is actually 36.
Joe, remember when you got back in the two parameters with us?
No, I'd already been out this morning, came back home, rechanged, left it laying after on the counter.
Okay.
So I had to actually get up and do something.
So Nebraska,
What
we're
about-
going to change that.
I feel we're gonna put you a little, maybe that needs to
Oh,
be
yeah,
put in
let's
like
check
a little
off.
class or there.
We got the
Take care of
audit.
that myself.
We got
I don't need
the
that budgeted, cause it's back there,
I've got
my poor vision.
the building. We got the patrol.
Well,
that
being
big
that
picture.
this is working on the tools, this is about that.
We drilled this sucker long enough.
Can you just fill it already? Why don't you just
Just
yank
pull
it
it.
out?
Just pull it.
Pull that dude.
Okay, we've got the shop electrical.
7,000.
Big, this was like
We've got.
sitting in the dentist chair and you ain't getting nothing done. He's like, oh, the dentist went to lunch. You guys need to be back in
Flag.
flag.
You know, these
$4,000,
things
right?
cost
We need to put that one in there.
about
That's where the
$45.
difference is.
Okay. And then we've got the.
I tried my phone, I was trying to get a combination lock unlocked. If I could
Darrell,
just
I
got
don't know what
that
you're coming
unlocked,
up with here.
I
We've
could
got
have
the-
went on, I
We
could
got
have
the storage container.
Couldn't see it, you covered it to get it.
Went to Walmart.
Okay, you've got
We
the
don't want
flag
to set,
in the mini split. How'd you come up with 1605?
I guess it was Corona deal.
That was when this had,
Seven.
that heater, other heater on it, so
Okay.
that's not,
Okay.
not
So
relevant at
back
this
to
point.
storage, I got it.
You got it, okay.
Drove all the way back there.
Got it. You got the well
Got
furnace,
the oil furnace.
you got the shop electrical.
Yes.
We're not gonna do the drug deal yet.
Yeah,
It was just, we're gonna do the flag.
rounding error, sorry.
For
Yeah.
freight.
Got it.
You've got the storage container, 5355.
Yeah.
Mini split for 3,400. And that's gonna replace that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because we're not gonna do the other unit.
No,
So that
just the mini
uses
split.
that. And, that's it.
And an outbuilding, 5760.
No, 53, 55.
5355's out there.
Oh, that's the
We're-
same
we're-
thing.
we're not
It's
doing
the
that.
same
Combination
thing.
lock after that.
Okay.
So guys, we still got about 100 grand, which we
Yeah.
can take that. That
It
goes a long
goes-
way towards the.
Goes right to there. Yeah, and then if you throw that, you know, nearly.
I mean, I
nearly
wouldn't
grand.
object to, something on this list if we, I'm not into all the
I'm not either.
equipment that he's asking for.
Well, Randy, that is mainly
That's
budget stuff right there. I mean, there's 2 or 3 items on there maybe, but we're darn sure not gonna throw the computers at him
Okay.
and say.
But
We budgeted, every year we look at that budget and we say yeah or no, and that office still performs. It's like, it's the same stuff, and it's like,
I mean, at least he didn't throw the top on there.
Yeah, Suburban,
Whatever.
80 grand? What are those now? Oh, when he first started asking, they were 70. They're gotta be 90 now. But they're not.
All right, is there anything else? I mean, right now we've got probably about 105,000 to go towards the brush cutter.
Okay, so
It was
with that
100.
being said, just so you guys know, we're committing to about 80 grand for budget. When we do that, so.
And
Committing 80 grand to the budget, what you're saying, with the brush cutter.
The brush cutter.
we can't get it bought for
The
100.
brush
The
cutter.
price of the brush cutter is what?
189.
Okay,
190.
of which
So what
they
we'll,
get
There's
partial.
what I'm getting at,
yeah, so Linda will modify the budget, put this item in there at the proposed price, the bid price, and then she'll put a revenue number in there that we'll know is coming from ARPA, and then we're gonna have to figure out that other 85,000 out of budget, yeah.
Plus the greater sale. I need a number for the greater sale.
Just to be transparent.
You
yeah.
know,
No, and that's what I'm saying, that's what I'm
So
getting with
what
that.
you've done is you've taken the
I
old
would think
burner,
on the light side, 25.
And make,
you split it,
Okay,
Yeah.
and a storage shed.
I'd
Going-
take what's
was-
left.
and the 7,500 to revamp the electrical and the lights out there. So that's what's gonna happen at the shop.
And what was left was how much?
Well, then we've got,
we've got some fluctuating with interest that we're still checking on for December, so around
So
100
that's where the
plus
extra
100,
stuff.
yeah.
So that will go towards the brush cutter and then got to backfill with the budget to meet the 190 or whatever the number is. 189.
there's a new flag in that to go out front, because you're down to nothing. And it's a newer, heavier duty version.
It's in there.
Yeah.
See if this is the furnace guy.
So.
And then there is a,
Randy Angst?
Yeah, Randy, this is Jim with DSI Clean Burn, returning your call.
Yeah, Jim, I'm gonna put you on speakerphone. We're actually in a county commission meeting here, and we're looking at, and in the room is Commissioner Pollock and Commissioner Layman and our county clerk, Linda Cansler, myself, and then we've got 3 individuals from the community here, a couple of incoming commissioners and a newspaper reporter. But what we're looking at, you'd submitted a sales proposal to Mike Cottrell, a Road and Bridge foreman. And so we're evaluating that. I'm not familiar with these types of systems at all. We believe it's probably a practical way to proceed. Where's the unit come from? Does that come from Janesville, or do you have local distributors somewhere?
Well, it comes probably out of our warehouse in Janesville.
Okay,
We have a warehouse there as well, so.
okay. And what would like life expectancy be on something like that? Now that's kind of a loaded question, but
Yeah, it depends on if you're doing the proper maintenance, which we do offer the yearly maintenance and cleanings and that type of stuff. I've seen them last 15, 20 years if you do proper maintenance.
okay. Now, is this price delivered? Yeah, it says freight included. I just seen that. Now, when
Yeah, we would ship it right to your door, and then if we're going to install it, then you would call us and tell us you received the unit, and then we will schedule your installation.
so what's the installation cost?
What is the installation cost?
Yeah, is that included in your proposal?
Let's see.
so DSI to
Yes,
install
it
through
is.
the roof.
DSI to install through the roof, and that means putting the chimney through and all that.
Okay, so we're gonna have, it's gonna hook to a single phase 30 amp breaker, and then you're gonna do the rest of it then.
Everything but the electrical.
Yeah.
If you
Okay.
look down at the bottom, we don't do the electric. You have to provide a forklift if needed.
Jim, what's the air compressor that's required?
We use compressed air. It helps atomize the oil. It's kind of like a kind of like a fuel injection system, if you will. We atomize the oil with compressed air, and then we ignite it right at the tip of the nozzle.
Okay, so is that something you normally hook up from a unit at the site, or is that a required air compressor that needs to be purchased to go along with it?
No, we can run on shop air. We do have onboard compressors, but if you have shop air, and typically you leave your shop air on, do you leave the air on overnight?
I don't think any of us know that.
How many CFM are you talking about, Jim?
Oh, it uses, let's see, about 14, yeah, the 1750, about 14 PSI at three cubic feet per minute or so.
3, okay.
And what we can do, if they are shutting the compressor off, if you have a valve that you can close to the shop, a lot of times we'll just take the gauge out of the tank compressor itself, put a T right there, and then if you were worried about bulk lines breaking or something like that at night, you just valve off to the shop, so nothing else has air, but the furnace can get air out of the tank, and if the compressor needed to run, then it can still run, but it will only be running the furnace. You follow what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yep.
What's an option to add a small compressor to that?
I'd have to get the current price on that. I can get that and call you back.
Okay. I mean, you're not talking about much of a compressor, but it might be.
No, that's why
Do you get better results from self-contained or shop air?
The results are the same. It's just a little onboard compressor is really expensive. And then, if that were to go out, then you're down, but if you run on the shop air, I mean, typically you're not going to have an issue with your shop compressor.
How sensitive is it to moisture?
If we're installing it, we will put, and I've got that in here as fitting skits. We put a moisture separator and a regulator right at the bottom of the furnace.
Okay. Thank you.
But yes, you want to try to keep moisture out of the air system if you can, but we will have a water separator right there on the regulator.
Okay.
If we determined that we were going to do this today, what kind of length of time are you looking at that would ship here?
Shipping, getting it to you probably within a week or two, and right now we're probably at least looking at 3 weeks out on the installation.
So probably February sometime, looks like possible.
Yeah, because we have probably 5 or 6 in front of you right at the moment.
Okay.
Jim, I noticed you had a December the 19th date on here. Is it still good?
Yep, if you guys make a decision today and you give me a signature, I will still honor that price. Now, in here, I had no stand brackets. Were you guys wanting the furnace hanging? It's been a while since I did this. Looks like back at the beginning of December.
I would assume it would hang.
Okay, and what is...
Or wait a minute, are you talking about the tank?
No, the furnace.
Okay. Yeah, I'm assuming the furnace would hang, the tank would stand though.
Yeah, it'll just set. This is a 500-gallon workbench tank like you'd set against the wall somewhere, and then you'd be able to fill into it. We would pull out of that for the furnace, and then you could also work on top of it like a workbench.
Okay.
Does it have a heater, or does it need a heater if it's inside, I guess?
No, it does not need a heater.
Okay.
No, we have a really good preheating system in the burner head. And typically we don't have a problem with that. We even have a lot of customers with outdoor tanks.
Jim, what would be the closest reps to us that would, let's say we did have a problem with it? Is it all the way from Wisconsin, or is it?
No. Where are you at? You'll see you're
Lebanon.
We're not too far from Springfield.
Oh yeah, no, we go to Springfield, Joplin, and Lebanon. Actually, I've got Hogan and several other people in Lebanon. GFL, they're kind of a trash hauler company,
Yeah.
Yep. So we are in Fulton, though, to answer your question. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're in Fulton. Okay. So what's a normal cleaning service once a year cost a guy?
I'd say on that furnace, and what we try to do is we'll group up, like I said, a couple of those other customers or so that, We don't make a bunch of trips and we can come there and hit, a good majority of the town, but you're probably looking in the $400 and something range for yearly maintenance.
Okay. I would assume then probably a service trip would be about the same price.
We have a
Depending
flat
on
rate.
parts, of course, but
Right, yeah, that doesn't really include any parts. That's just an on-site cleaning, basically, and then we go over everything in the unit. We will start it up. We clean filters, everything at that time. Then we fire the furnace, make sure it's operating correctly, and then typically we would shut the power down for the summer, and then you should be ready to go for the fall.
good.
So what's this compare with on a BTU on a natural gas heater? What kind of, is this big enough to take care of our shop?
How big was the shop again?
What was it, 40 by 80 or something like that?
And you guys had another furnace in there, didn't
Yeah,
you?
we've had two, we've got a wood furnace in there, and we had two natural gas or maybe propane. I don't know what they've been converted probably, but they're dinosaurs.
Yeah, I don't know how we got to the 1750, but whoever I spoke with before, that's what I really would need to know dimensions and ceiling height in order to tell you that for sure, but.
So Jim, we're probably 3,200 square feet and 14-foot sidewalls.
Okay, 3,200. Let me see what I can look
Open
at
ceiling
here.
though, right?
Yeah,
Give me just a second here to run some numbers.
212 pitch.
Do you think it's 40 wide or 50 wide?
Yeah, do you kind of know the actual dimensions? Just roughly,
Yeah, so probably 3,200 feet square.
Yeah, but is it like 30 by 50, 30 by 60?
No,
What do you think?
it's probably like a 40 by 80.
Okay, let's see, that's saying 44
Probably not
feet.
that long.
It's probably 60-foot shop, maybe.
Yeah, okay, so you're saying 40 by 60?
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, that 80.
33.6. Let me take a look at that there.
See what it comes up with.
Yeah, I'm gonna look on my heat load sheet here and see what we've got.
And we appreciate you getting back to us this quick as well. We're kind of having to make some decisions here at the very last minute of the year.
Oh, I understand. I've been trying to be on vacation this week, and I've just been unable to do it, man. Everybody's trying to cram in before the end of the year to seeing where they were at on their taxes and stuff, so it is what it is. I'm coming up with 33,600 cubic feet, which, the 1750 on a low heat requirement, which means you wouldn't need much heat, would be at 60,000 cubic feet, and then a high heat requirement, which I like to figure just so I'm not wrong, but as long as we're in there, 38,000 cubic feet. So the 1750 in theory should be, as long as your doors aren't open half the day when it's 0 degrees
No,
out.
they won't do that. They'll shut them, open and close. Yeah.
So what would be a response time if the unit went down? How long would it be before you get a service man here?
We don't typically offer same-day service. We have thousands of these furnaces in Missouri, and there's 3 techs.
Okay.
But typically, it's hard to say, but 2 or 3 days ish.
Okay.
Don't hold me to
Sure.
that. I don't direct the service guys. They make their own schedule, and I just forward stuff to them, and they take care of it.
Okay. And then here on your proposal, it's 19,850, and then you're asking half down if we give you a purchase order, being a county government.
Yeah, I'm totally fine with that. And actually, we can move the equipment quicker on a purchase order than if we have to wait on a mailed check.
Okay, all right. We can make a decision today. Now, how would we email that purchase to freeheatjim@earthlink.net, or where we?
Yeah, that that's what I would need first, is sign my proposal. If you look at the bottom, it just says accepted by. and put the
Yes,
date.
yes.
Email that back to, it should be freeheatjim@earthlink.net.
Okay,
That's
And
trying to
then
be
I
on
will
vacation.
forward that to the office. Are you guys tax exempt or
yes,
how's that?
yes, yeah.
Okay, you will also need to fill out the forms for that, but we can do that.
Okay.
I mean, we don't have a problem with the tax exempt. You just have to provide a tax ID number or whatever they need on the form.
Linda will forward that with the executed sales proposal.
Yep, and then what I can do is if you decide to do it, if you can shoot it all to me at once with the purchase order number. And I'm showing it here with no tax. So
Correct.
in theory, that should be your total.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
If you just want to make the purchase order for that, and if something changes, we will go from there.
Yeah,
But-
and I guess the thing on that would be, we didn't ever answer your question on the, whether it was gonna be ceiling mounted, right? There was something
Yeah.
about brackets, I think.
Yeah, I was just wondering what is on the ceiling. Is it like a red steel construction?
Yeah.
It's red iron.
Okay, so you have like I-beams and purlings and,
Yep.
okay. And then what is on the top side of the roof? Regular corrugated tin, standing seam, rubber, what's up top?
Boy, I have not saw it. I don't know.
I
I'm
think
gonna
it's
assume
sheet
that
metal.
it's just,
Well, that's not as important today. When I place the order for the equipment, I would need to know so I can make sure we have the correct flashing for your roof.
right.
Okay. Any other questions, guys? No? Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
No problem. Thank you. Let me know if you need something else to make your decision there. I'll be glad to help.
Okay, certainly. Thank you.
Yep. If you send the signed proposal, let me know, because a lot of times stuff will go to my spam and I won't see it for half the day or better.
Okay, we'll make a decision here quickly, and then we'll call you back and let you know it's on the way.
Okay, sounds good,
Okay.
Randy. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Bye.
I think any concerns, if I had concerns,
Pretty well eliminated
I
that.
think,
Mhm.
I don't know how we could go wrong.
All right.
So,
Without any other further discussion, I'd make a motion to
To go to
approve
lunch.
that list
no.
that we have over with Linda.
Oh, you're wanting out here by
expenditures.
4 o'clock, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't, I've heard your pizza stuff, before, and they didn't come.
Wait a minute. I have
I
egg
got
salad.
pizza coming. I don't think that was over. Maybe not. But I
Okay,
would make
is
a
there-
motion for that list of expenditures for the remaining ARPA
Does it take a
funds.
motion? Yeah, okay.
You don't
I was
need
gonna
it?
say no.
Well, I need to make something
Okay.
before I'm done.
All right, you can make a motion to adjourn when it's time.
Make a motion to adjourn. Is that what you're telling me I can do now?
No,
Well,
when it's time.
here, so then before we do that, then we need to, we did put this out for bid,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So just initial this and give me, by your authority, to sign off on it, and we'll get
You
it.
don't want a nice fill. Put Eric's initials on.
And then we probably ought to do the same thing on this one. So get that one up here.
No, this was one. Yeah. Is that those now?
I just can't let you guys.
Yeah,
off
let's
the
do
hook.
this one.
That one, you did put out.
That's about 100,000 more than what we wanted.
did, and we opened.
I will do that one.
Yeah. So
I
that one
don't
needs
do
to
that.
go.
This one needs a
There you
vote.
go, he can do
It's
that.
probably the one that you just laid that one on
Okay.
top.
No, that's the same thing. This is-
Okay, I need to ask for a motion to approve
There you
the
go.
sales proposal from DSI for the oil furnace for $19,850.
So we didn't need that.
I'll make a
Not-
motion
Not
to-
for a commitment, but that was a bid after I'm reading here.
Yeah,
Okay.
because we did put that out.
Motion to approve the oil burner for the,
You get the
Took my
second,
motion.
Darrell.
yeah, there you
Took
go.
my motion.
There you go. You get second.
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign. Okay,
This is not the one we want. That one is.
I'm gonna look at that, make sure you guys don't get one in on me here at the last
And
minute.
this is the one you wanted us to go at that price.
I did not want that one.
That was 269,000.
Okay.
Let's buy a
I
grader.
probably need a motion on this.
Is that
Getting
your
him out of
suite?
the-
Your suite? Is that your
Yeah.
suite?
Or no. This would be the suite here.
It's a state bid.
Okay.
No,
State
and you'll
bid,
commit the
okay.
rest of it in budget.
Okay, then we got that out of the way. Do we need
Michael.
to initial the one for,
You should initial everything you're intending on purchasing.
okay, let's take care of that one. We rejected that one.
Donuts.
Flag, we could initial this one here from Dunklin Sales, just this one. And there's the one we agreed to there.
And then the mini split, we agreed to
That's
one.
been-
We gotta figure which
We've
one.
signed
Oh,
something
no,
there,
it
we've
is
signed something
2,000.
there, we've signed something there, we've signed something there, and sent them half the
2 ton.
money.
2 ton.
We've signed something there. We'll execute something here.
Storage is here.
Yeah.
You don't have
There,
that
we
one,
don't have that.
but that's under bid, doesn't matter.
Okay, and, we just executed that one.
In the
And
flag.
the flag, okay.
Yeah.
It's this one.
Just circle that whole thing.
Did you get Steve Leonard's?
Yeah, I think
You
we already sent it
I
back.
think we sent it
I
back.
didn't.
I probably did. Did I? No, yep, okay.
And that one,
And we did this one.
Henderson.
Okay. So what we need to do is then go ahead and let these people know so that we can get these moving. So who are we
First
gonna,
one.
who are we gonna,
Well, the one that needs the email, I'll take.
right
care of.
now, you'll take care of him.
Do you guys want a list of?
I probably, Henderson's there, my first cousin, so I probably need to stay, of course, if we're doing all of them at once, right? But somebody call or have Mike call Henderson's on that.
Cottrell, you're saying, 'cause my
Yeah.
sheet's gone. but
Yeah, have Mike Cottrell call them,
he could-
and then have Mike Cottrell call Murphy's,
you gonna call
and
Steve?
then, who's
I want these
Conway,
back,
you
just
or
FYI.
who's Conway? You wanna
Steve.
call Steve and let him know? And then Duncan Sales have Mike call, so Mike needs to call those three right there. And then before, if I could just have a minute, Erik, with you and Joe before you leave, if you would let me have that minute. I've got something I need to go over with you just to prepare for Thursday morning. And
You get
Hey,
Thursday, you get
Need
Friday
you to
donuts.
follow up on 2 things.
I don't know, I heard those fried pies
You need
came
to
from your
notify
place.
Henderson Heating and Cooling
No, they did not.
the intent that
No,
we're
they
gonna
came
purchase
from- They
the
made it through
mini
this
split
place.
that they have
I'm
for
like, my
3,400.
wife loved that blueberry. I asked somebody, I said, where'd they come from? They said, well, Erik brought those in. I'm like, I'm gonna get Erik up for those.
Murphy,
Maybe I need to talk to him about so he is opening up. a
was it Murphy you
ice
need to
cream
contact?
Yeah, Murphy,
Murphy
Oh,
about
yeah.
the 189
burgers and stuff like that.
we can get them a purchase order.
purchase order. We get a purchase order.
Just ask
to
them what they need, yeah.
What do they need so we can
Every
commit
day
that
of the week. he
for
will
the
have a flavor.
Hey, Steve,
brush
He is
cutters.
made,
Mm-hmm.
so you can
And
hot-
Hey,
Duncan
give
Sales.
Mr. Graham a call and tell him to get ready for his
That's right.
concrete
Yeah.
boots on.
Yeah, and he'll
Where's
need
he
to
at?
coordinate payment. We'll have to make the
I can
payments
never
on those.
remember the
We-
name of the town.
we'll have to
It's
set
a
that
small
so we know
town
that we
down
wanna
there.
trade in the old cutter on that, or you wanna try to sell it?
But,
Is that your Marion?
Keep it,
you know,
Like,
this
keep
is
it.
where
Is
we're
that down
making
there?
deals with
For
these
now.
I think.
last days, so we've gotta have proof that contract is made in place today.
and one other,
Purchase order, or
was Dunklin sales
South is-
on
Yeah.
the outdoor storage,
South or west?
they're, 5355
I'm thinking it's my.
storage.
Either
He's
myself or
told me.
somebody get
So
back.
how often does he come up here?
I don't know, I guess I could call him. but I
Oh, I
With
thought he made a
a
regular trip.
Purchase order
No.
together, what do they need?
Okay.
don't-
You
He,
want to get that.
He works for the Robinson.
Yeah, you'll need a purchase.
Yeah.
So we'll need Dunklin sales, outdoor storage 5355,
So we'll get you a
the,
purchase order and we just
Murphy
have to bring it today.
tractor, brush cutter,
Yeah.
and Henderson Heating's on the 3400 mini split.
And we
Yeah,
bought
we're
the
gonna
oil
do the-
burner.
I'll probably
oil
just call
furnace
him
And
from
we've already taken care of that.
the other guy that for 19,500. We've already got that taken care of.
Make sure.
So it sounds like I've got the question.
So we're gonna go with that.
All right. Thanks, Steve.
He's already been visited with while we were meeting in here,
Coordinate
so that's done.
with Steve. You mentioned we'd have
So-
to pay for that.
Oil furnace,
I will.
Steve Leonard, yeah.
the electrical and all
So
the
we
lights,
either
Do we
We're gonna
call
be
him
done.
and get a purchase order
Or
on
give
that
me a
today?
brush cutter,
No. Okay.
mini
I mean,
split,
unless
and a
you're
trailer
reading on the
storage
ARPA side that we need
is
something.
going for the shop.
Well, we just have to have the funds committed, and I would
Just
think
one,
if we
yeah.
had
I didn't
a
think that was
53.55.
formal, so, or is it?
If we
If we
have,
have this.
if we have a PO created today,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
proof that it's done today.
yeah,
that- to
I'll,
me,
I'll
that's
let you
what I
know
would
what
do.
the
Okay.
vendors on
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we'll find out. Okay. Credit card purchase on the trailer, storage.
Probably check.
Linda thinks check, but, yeah,
Credit card, why don't we do that Thursday? When
Okay.
Mike Cheek gets back and let
okay,
him deal
Mike
with
Cheek
it.
will be back Thursday, so we can figure it out, credit card or purchase order.
So
Let
probably
them
Oh,
know
send
that.
a
purchase
check.
order, if they'll take a purchase order.
Yeah,
You were saying
they
they
can send a
wouldn't.
letter along with it, yep. Okay. All right, that's it. If you can get those other things. Yeah, we're, I don't know, I don't usually spend this much money this fast at my house, so anyhow, just for you. Yeah. Yeah, that'll be nice. Yep. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you. Talk to you later. Bye. You seem to be pretty happy about that.
Okay, I would say we, you wanna finish up anything? Is there anything that is undone? Are we finished the ARPA? I think we got everything taken care of. Was there any other general county business? Yeah, I think Leanne would like to get a photo.
A photo.
Yeah.
And don't forget, you're on the hook till midnight.
On hook to midnight. You can't have my key back then, till then.
Does Mike have their numbers pre-programmed, ready to roll?
Yeah, does Mike have your old number? Does Leanna have your old number?
Well, she won't be there getting the call at midnight, but.
Yeah. I can't think of anything else, actually.
David, anything else? Okay.
Yes, I think we've kind of taken care of what we had hanging out there. And
We've taken care of business.
we have, so,
We've taken care of business.
the only thing I can say, guys, is it's not that you need good luck, but good luck.
It's a luck that we found this good.
I'd rather be lucky as good any day.
You are meeting Thursday.
You said it right. You are meeting Thursday.
You are
It's like
meeting Thursday.
The we has dropped
You
off.
guys, you guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think of anything
Guys
else
are
other than
Passing the torch.
Yeah. You guys, that side is supposed to be in control of the doors. Not. Just telling
So
you.
you'll have to fight over who wants control of
wants
the
that
door.
inside.
Oh,
Yeah, that seat, usually that chair is the door control
well.
and that seat is the coffee control. So, yeah.
And that seat's the one that,
Tries to help every chance.
I will tell you that I feel like that we've left the county in as good a position as we found the county in. And I think that's credit to the guys before us and the other guys that'll come after us. I think that you'll find that you work hard and you'll get you just got to rough off edges until you get it smoothed down enough to where it finally feels like, oh, that will work. And so it's kind of been around part of it now, listening here, trying to figure it out. I still don't get that Peaburg Road straightened out yet, but
I will say one thing. I think
I'll make a motion.
When I came here, we were much more dependent on fires as a work schedule. Today, I think we plan our own more. So, to me, I think that's what we've really gained.
Yeah.
Is we've quit responding to the fires because we're getting them put out before they pop up.
Yeah.
Now, there's always going to be complaints. So,
our area of biggest area of responsibility obviously is the budget. But the areas that we oversee, certainly road and bridge is the number one dollar-wise that we oversee of those 4 departments. And it's been more intentional, the way we've accomplished what we've been able to accomplish. So the number of calls that I received when I first got here compared to recently, it's just night and day. We made some decisions. Darrell alluded to earlier, bringing somebody on board to help with data input and collection and processing for road and bridge, and that's made a huge difference. Bringing the phone line over here and having that person to answer it, as opposed to going to road and bridge and you had 28 messages and the guys just couldn't get to them. They're out and doing their work. But when somebody calls, typically they're going to get a live person to answer the phone. And I challenge a lot of other businesses to be able to say that same thing. So our customer service has really increased, and I think we see the benefit of that in the goodwill from the community. And no, it won't be perfect. We don't have every road out there in the shape we want it to be, but we're certainly aware that we're going to continue to do all that we can to make it better. So, yeah. So.
Yeah, for the most part, other than the weather-related things that get where you're just rainy and muddy and or you get dry and dusty, roads don't really get that a lot of in it any longer. But what you do get are things you really can't control. It's they're dusty. That's what gravel roads do, and so the process has got it to the point that now, kind of taking care of these things. What's it look like in the future? What do those roads look like? Is it something that you take another bite of the apple on and try to determine what can we do to get that? Or are we going to commit to just maintaining them like they are and just doing the best you can with that? Or do you look at now, what does that look like another 3, 5, 10 years down the road? Do you do more of a different process? And we looked at that down in Taney County. Is there a process there that would fit with what you've got here? And it's got decisions. And how you could
we have
possibly
enough
get those.
data collected now over the last 3 years that if we use it, that will help us greatly in reaching some of those decisions that might be important for us to consider. Yeah, we have enough data, so it's not what we think, but we actually we actually have more data that we can retrieve and look at it and say, okay, that's
Yes.
the,
Be intent about slabs and your tin whistles that run across the roads or whatever. When you know that every time you get a 2-inch rain, it's gonna wash across the road, address it. Address it. It's gotta go on a list to be addressed in the future. You eliminate those one by one, year by year, and sooner or later, you have a better road. And it's, you've gotta have the intent to do that though. And you've gotta have the data to back up that says, okay, that's the 4th time it's been over the road, we gotta do something. So use the data and use intent to get things done. Slabs will help a lot. There's a lot of places that we have tin whistles that we should have slabs. And so just always remember that. Just because it is what it is doesn't mean that how it's gotta stay. So just keep always thinking, what's the intent to make it better? Because after every pick a size of rain, that's your biggest job. That's when you're gonna get your most calls. That's when everything is happening, because we gotta go back in and you know, you're working against what you wanna do there. You wanna get on a schedule and follow it, okay? But when you have rains that give gully washers, you can't. You've gotta go fix those spots, or you're gonna be a month or a month and a half away from somebody getting the road fixed after one of those. So you've gotta go address it. It's not what you really wanna do, but it's what you have to do. So those are the ones you need to fix.
Yeah, and I'd just say, if you have any questions about insurance or anything like that, call David. And if you have any problems with like budget questions or that kind of stuff, call David. And any, you know, just ideas about in general, call David.
If you want to just sit and listen to somebody talk, call her.
Oh, generally, if I talk enough, an idea will come out of there. Yeah. Hey, again, thank you, Linda. You are the county clerk, but you're just as much as input in helping us get to these decisions, because you are the financial officer of this county as well. And that doesn't get out there enough. You're kind of known for elections and that kind of stuff, but the financial officer part of that really is it's a big thing. And so we have to work so closely with that, because you have to have that expertise with that. So thank you for what you've done in that. It's just impossible to do if we didn't have that. Your background with that and your ability to help us with those, making those. Randy, thank you. Appreciate this lead plaque. That's really, really neat. So again, appreciate working with you, and it's been good. Thank you, David.
It is.
Yeah.
Been good. Randy.
That's good. I appreciate you guys. We're good. I'll try to get that room cleaned out today. Maybe by Monday.
Yeah.
Hey, David, you're not in any hurry.
I'm done. I take this stack of paper, I'm walking out the door.
You and Joe could share David's office for a week.
Maybe for 2 or 3.
Well, maybe you can get it out of there.
You're gonna be in here for 2 or 3 anyway.
You don't need that when you're in here.
That's right.
I'll pile in with Randy, you can have.
come on in there, Erik. We'll set you up on that little table there.
Now, you're gonna have to put out a memo if you two are in there together.
That's true. Think about that.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll leave these donuts for Thursday.
If they're still here, they might get eaten.
Okay. They're probably right there.
It's lunchtime, isn't it?
Yeah,
All
we're
right.
done.
Hey, Jack, thank you. Appreciate your coverage for the last, I guess, couple years now, I think.
Yeah, it's been almost a year now.
Has it?
Yeah.
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 Headed into year 2. Here we go.
Here we go.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Yeah. Well, Happy New Year. It's unbelievable. It's New Year's Eve today, so I just happened to look at something. My youngest son got married to his wife. Anniversaries today, so I was like, "What? This is
How many years?
This is their 3rd year." So yeah,
Congratulations.
yeah. I said, "You're gonna get married. You better get married now. Don't wait till after the 1st year. Then you got a dependent.
Leave me alone.
You got to get married now so you can get that tax break." Anyway,
Okay. Who wants to make the motion?
I'll make that motion that we adjourn, and then David and I will cut a trail, and you guys will meet again on Thursday at 8:30.
We'll meet Thursday at 8:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Since you don't normally need a second to adjourn, I'm gonna second.
Okay.
Just to be on record.
All right.
All right.
We will stand adjourned. We'll come back Thursday, and if I can get a photo op with my colleagues here, and then I'll come right back. I've got something.
I wouldn't mind having you.
Sure. Yeah.